Story Fights, where I like to talk about spiritual warfare. I like to talk about addiction, recovery, community stuff. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to try and tie it to spiritual warfare for you, and maybe try to enlighten. I'd really like this video to be for recovery community, and so share it to that if you can. That's really what I hope to accomplish and encourage someone with today with this information. So I've been a drug addict most of my life. Yeah, that was my sin of choice, is what we're going to say, is drugs. All the nonsense that comes with it. But I was reading something yesterday, and it was somebody from the recovery community that kind of like they're just outspoken about recovery and stuff, or being wrapped up in that community. And for me, I've always known that there was something bigger than there was a bigger plan. I never did grab a hold of that community, the recovery community, as far as going to AA, NA, all that stuff. I've been to it. It's not my thing. I've always felt a drawing, like, if I'm going to get off drugs, I want to do that because I want to do that for God. I want it to save me. I don't want to just get off drugs to gain things of the world. I don't want to get off drugs and still be miserable. So the thing I read, I'm just, which I started the thing about this community before. I'm like, okay, I like to talk about spiritual warfare, and I get it that in certain parts or whatever parts of the recovery community, it allows for people to be, make whatever their God, or claim a higher power that's stronger than their self, whether it's a freaking doorknob, a tree, or whatever. That's never set well with me. It just doesn't make sense. And that's easy for me to say, someone who can feel a calling of God on your life. And whether you have that, a church call, not necessarily a church call, I just want to help people some way. I want to be a benefit to the world. I don't just want to get off drugs and be, steadily living for myself still. I want to have a purpose. And I believe the only way I can have that purpose is because I know my true nature is to live for myself. It's to seek pleasure, comfort, all those things. Avoid responsibilities, whatever it might be. And for me personally, a higher power is holy. It's God that draws me to accountability of those behaviors, to see that selfishness in drug addiction. So one of the things I want to go with this is, I've watched it so much, and I'm like, I've been to the AA, NA, and I'm like, it's one of the saddest places I've ever been. I'm like, you guys are like, oh, I got 20 or 15 or whatever years clean, and then they'll go on about how rough their life is and how they have to cling to this thing. They have to go to these meetings every day. And I'm like, wow. And some will even be like, yeah, they go to church sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, and they believe in God. God is their higher power. And I'm like, what are these meetings for then? See, I want to give back to them people. That's how I feel inside of a AA or NA meeting. I'm just like hearing sad stories. And I just want to jump up and I want to give them the word of God. And I want to say, there's hope. And I say that because I see so many patterns with people that, okay, they get this clean time. And I've been this person, to where like you can get however much clean time because we're focusing on drugs as a sin. And so another thing is I see these people in these meetings and they're like, okay, it's kind of a scapegoat. Like the drugs, we can blame the drugs. But that's kind of like what I want to talk about. Like, that's where I want to go a little deeper with it. And everybody knows, anybody that's watching me on here, I love talking about narcissism. This has been the best thing. And when I say narcissism, I'm talking about psychology. Not anxiety. I know about that stuff too, and freaking ADHD or depression and all. Those are minor psychology problems. One psychologist I listen to a lot, she said it. So, and I had already had this revelation, so it was great for me to hear her say it. She's world-renowned psychologist, especially in dark psychopathy, dark psychology, narcissism, Machiavellian. That's what I like. So, but I heard her make the statement, understand narcissism and you will understand mental health. I'd already had that revelation. I'm like, ooh, I get it. The people that use, and here, that's just the depression and all that stuff. That's top level. I mean, that's surface level psychology. Mental health. Where does that depression stem from? Now this was a little revelation that I got from church, was hearing them say, depression comes from giving your heart to the wrong thing. And I'm like, it is. And I'm not dismissing some of it because I know these things show up in different ways. And the depression, and it can absolutely be legitimate in other areas, but I'm like, that's a big thing. So what is somebody? They're depressed and they're giving into something also. Like, okay, I watch people that claim these things, depression, anxiety. Every man has anxiety. You should have, I guess. And people might not like that, but guess what? We are built for that. We are called as men to fight, struggle. Yeah, going to work, taking care of your family, that's not easy. It's not going to be easy. Putting up with being nice, generous, loving, kind. We're called to that, and it's going to cause anxiety because we're going to deal with difficult people. Another revelation from church. Difficult people in your lives to show you yourself. That was an awesome thing. Please hang in right there. Yes, sir. What?
You want to make some money?
Yeah. Is it about Brian? Okay. Well, is it right now?
Sort of.
What is it?
Take Dylan Gray and drop him off at Surf City. He'll give you gas.
Okay, yeah, I will. Tell him to give me 15 minutes okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. And thank you for anybody that stuck around for that. Come on, help me. So,